it's Kamal Fernandez from Kamal Fernandez Dog Training with another conversation with Kamal, with a person that actually doesn't do dog training. So a little bit of a surreal one, but I'm sure for most of you, this conversation is going to be really, really relevant. I'm talking today to my good friend, Martyn Hall. And Martyn actually probably runs a business that probably does one of the most important things anybody that owns a dog will need to invest in their whole dog ownership. And it's one that probably most of us have spent thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds on and cherish and treat like our second home. And that is Martyn makes vehicles specifically for dogs and dog crating. So I thought it'd be a really great conversation to have, to hear about Martyn's, how he got into this industry, and ways in which you guys can reach out to him. And if you're thinking about getting a vehicle crated out, he is most definitely your man, especially in what we do as dog professionals and sports competitors, but also those of you that are just looking for a crating or caging or housing for your dogs just to travel. And Martyn has a great insight into that. So Martyn, thank you very much for your time. It's great to talk to you. How are you keeping?
Good morning, Kamal. I'm keeping well, thank you. Did you have a nice Christmas?
Yeah, it was a bit of a surreal one year for everybody. I think it's been
like
a bit
everyone else, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's been a bit of a testing year. So Martyn, obviously you're based in Cardiff. Is it Cardiff or Bristol?
I'm based in Cardiff, just
Cardiff.
6 miles west of the airport.
Excellent. And you're just tell us a little bit about your business and obviously how you the name of the business and how you started it, etc., and a little bit of the background.
So I've been involved in vehicle conversions for just over 20 years now, being an approved Mercedes-Benz vehicle builder, one of 8 bespoke companies operating in Europe. Up until COVID, we've been specialising in the live music industry, and we've run a show for business through X Factor over the years, which has run hand in hand with the bespoke vehicles that we've been building. Obviously, COVID came along in March. Live music saw the end to live music, and pretty much every order for future vehicles, along with vehicles completed for Glastonbury, pretty much got cancelled.
Right.
So in the thick of COVID, I got introduced to a good friend who was very active in the agility world. Got the chance to go out and see her compete on one of the few competitions that that ran at the beginning of COVID. And started looking at the way that people transport their animals back and forth the shows, and couldn't believe the basic vehicles that they're using, and more so the safety aspect of it. So I decided to build one as a test vehicle. Which went out initially 1 or 2 shows, small local competitions rather, in September. And we built off the back of the first one, and pretty much it took off from there. We had a lot of inquiries from a few of the top trainers from Team GB. And we went out and met them, and we said, this is what we'd like to do. We'd like to diversify into what we do and still build on vehicles, but we'd like to try something new. So we developed a few vehicles, gave them to try out, rotating the vehicles around, building different models, learning from the trainers. Obviously, they've been using dog vehicles for many, many years. And basically working with people that are au fait and familiar, in the industry of the transport side of things. Basically developing a new vehicle that's basically has been developed with feedback from trainers, feedback from people in the industry, not necessarily trainers, dog owners as well, breeders. And collating all that information together and basically producing a vehicle that works for them, I assume.
Excellent. I mean, that sounds, everything you've said there sounds amazing, especially for what we do as dog owners and dog sports enthusiasts. A vehicle that, is, for me, it's like my second office, and, it's my second home essentially. And to have it so that it's comfortable for my dogs, and I travel obviously extensively, and most of us do normally in normal times. And it's somewhere that our dogs spend a lot of their time, and we want them to be comfortable, safe, and obviously have the vehicle be practical. So all that's great. The interesting thing is that you glanced over a couple of little things on your resume, which I just want to go into because I think people will be super interested. You just name drop there Glastonbury, X Factor, as if like that's what you do. Yeah, exactly. Just as I do, just who I hobnob with. So I'm going to give you a chance to just brag a little bit, Martyn. So tell some of the people like who you've like some of the cool jobs that you've done or worked on. Obviously, you mentioned X Factor, and did you say Britain's Got Talent as well?
I've worked on Britain's Got Talent. I'm certainly not here to brag about the people that I've mixed with, but I have spent many years on the road. Again, that was a concept that we took to Mercedes-Benz in 2008, I think it was.
Yeah.
We wanted to develop a luxurious vehicle, people carrier.
Yeah.
Not specifically for the music industry,
right.
But we built a few in 2008, high-end vehicles. We presented them to Mercedes-Benz and said, this is what we'd like to do.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they backed us with the project, helped us develop the product.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started building. Our first vehicles went out in 2010 to headline Glastonbury.
Wow.
For Dizzee Rascal on the pyramid stage.
Wow.
And over the years, we became very good friends, the management, the crew, the team. We still stay in touch now. I do the odd job or turn up at the odd show when they were running.
Yeah.
And that progressed onto X Factor then, where we we did a small amount of close protection work, but the bulk of our work was moving the artists around on final week.
Wow.
And then doing all the plug-in and the radio shows on the new albums, etc., all over the country and across Europe.
Wow.
But yeah, we've been fortunate to work with some big artists. Worked with Rhianna and Calvin Harris in 2012.
Wow. So driving them around, transporting them and their crew and their team around the country.
That's right, basically. So using a bespoke Sprinter, which pretty much has everything on board for them, a touring vehicle. Mm-hmm. And basically we would operate a chauffeur with the close protection guy on with them.
Yeah.
And we would basically move them around the country securely.
Wow. Wow, what a cool role to your job. And it's really interesting that you said, obviously, your business was incredibly established in that industry. But COVID, like for so many of us, it's really affected how we operate. And it's meant that, which is part of, which is why one of the reasons why I want to talk to Martyn about, being flexible in what you do. And I think that's something that a lot of us could take a lesson from. So I know for myself, COVID has presented challenges. That's not, I think everybody would agree in that, but it's also also allowed me to be flexible within my business and think laterally about how to operate and to help people. And that's essentially what drove your business from that industry, which is essentially shut down completely, into what you're doing now. And it's amazing, isn't it, how life takes you on these paths and these different tangents. So if you went from having like ready to go vehicles ready to support Glastonbury to bang, done and dusted, and that was what really forced your hand, was it, Martyn?
It wasn't a case of forcing my hand. Obviously, my hand was forced. We had to do something with the company. Yeah. The order books basically cleared. I mean, to give an example, we typically build about 100 vehicles for live music every year.
Wow.
So when it came along, we initially looked at the camper market. We thought, maybe there's some scope there to produce a high-end one in association with MB. Yeah. We built a couple of high-end ones, and then we realised, is this really what we want to get involved in? People will soon start flying in the next few years, and everyone that's bought a camper through COVID will basically want to offload. Yeah. So whilst we were building the first test campers, I got introduced to a very good friend. I'm from farming background, so I've worked with sheepdogs. And I always had animals around me right through my childhood and adult life. So it was kind of like looking at vehicles out there and how they use them, how they're built, constructed. I think typically they get themselves the van of their choice, they ply line it, Then traditionally, I think they take it to a cage manufacturer.
Yep.
And then some people scratch their heads then, and then they think they've got this lovely new cage, fly-lined vehicle. Forgot to insulate it, and then within weeks there's water dripping on the cages.
Yep.
So I looked at the product in detail. I went out and I bought probably 20 different cage manufacturer cages secondhand, evaluated them, the construction of them, how they're built. I've been heavily involved in crash testing with Mercedes for over a decade.
Right.
So we looked at the safety aspect of it, how we could improve that, how we can improve the insulation properties of the vehicle, and basically just produce one complete vehicle that's ready to roll.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, the thing I think that you know, as a dog lover, my dogs are more than just dogs, and I'm sure this is for many people watching. They are essentially an extension of my family. They are, they're like, more kids, one. But and I think that we obviously, with my daughter, when I travel, constantly that we've got the latest seat for her, and we make sure that it's up to spec, and we do what obviously the technology and the information is so readily available for children, and seats and seat belts and safety. But for dogs, I think we're a little bit, I'm not going to say flippant, but we're almost just accept that the products that are available are what we do. So, every time I get a vehicle, I normally get it crated out, which can be, an investment in itself. You get your vehicle crated out and you just really hope that nothing untoward happens. I know that in the past, there's been some horror stories about people's dogs, them being involved in accidents, and, obviously the cages then showing that they probably aren't as bomb-proof as what we would as hope and what we'd assume. And that isn't to sort of like say, to point fingers at any particular crate or anything like that. It's just, I think that we've become so almost accepting of this is the standard format, this is the standard crate, etc. And it takes somebody like yourself who has a vast amount of knowledge and expertise in that industry to look at it with an objective eye and say, actually, this isn't up to scratch in comparison to what you've been, the level of detail and attention. Because I suppose from dealing with really high level, top end level products, you're looking at it from not only an aesthetic point of view, but from a safety point of view, from a practical point of view, from a longevity point of view. And that's something that with crates, I think needs to be definitely taken on board. What a great project to get involved with. So you mentioned that you've been working with people within agility closely and consulting with them, and you've been obviously building vehicles for their specific needs. What have you learned about the industry? What have you learned that probably has surprised you, or what have you brought to the table that has been different to what they had envisioned? Was there anything significant?
Well, initially, it's been an absolutely crazy 3 months where we've rolled it out. I've personally dealt with every inquiry that's come through because I've found it's important to liaise with the customer, particularly at this early stage when we're developing products.
Yeah.
I've followed it right through, work with every customer myself, which we pass on them with training and recruitment. So basically, we've worked with them, we've gone out, we've sat down with them, we've gone through, what their ideal vehicle is, what works for them, what the layout is, etc., etc. Not everybody's ideal is the same, obviously.
Yeah.
Some people want the facility to sleep over in the nights, if they're at a 2-day event or something.
Yep.
Some people have big dogs, small dogs.
Yep.
A lot to take in, a lot to develop, a lot of investment required. But yeah, we're getting there. The positive response we've had from rolling out what we've done so far in the last few months it's been overwhelming, to be honest. Met some amazing people, made some really good friends as well, including yourself, Kamal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what am I bringing to the table? I'm looking at the way that cages are installed into vehicles with my previous work with Mercedes. I'm not just plugging Mercedes all the time, but we've been heavily involved in luggage restraint as well, which is relevant really, because essentially you've got a boxed off area in the back of the vehicle with something up to 30 kilos
Yep.
just in this box. And in the unfortunate event of an accident, the repercussions of what could happen could be horrific.
Yeah.
So initially, luggage restraint led me to look at, you could have potentially 4 30-kilogram animals in the back of this vehicle. On impact, what's going to happen is the case strong enough to contain them? Does it end up on the driver? So we're developing something slowly. We don't want to roll it out until we're certain it works. Don't want to roll it out until breeders, trainers, experienced dog handlers have looked at it, examined it. And then when we believe we're ready and all the testing is all in place, well, we will be rolling it out.
Yeah, that sounds really super exciting. So, one of the things that I've talked with Martyn about is their this project that they've got, and they've been working back at their bat cave, so to speak, which is to produce a product that's
dog cave,
dog cave, that's going to be really ultra safe is the premise of it, and looking at it from all angles and producing a product that is pretty unique, I'd say, in the market. So that's really, really exciting and something to look forward to in 2021. So for those of us that do dog sports, how would people reach out to you? I mean, obviously you've mentioned Mercedes-Benz, but that isn't specifically the vehicle that you could cater to. Any vehicle, any budget, anything that anybody wanted. If they came to you and said, I have a small van, a big van, you and your team could basically work with them and cater to exactly their needs, couldn't you?
That's right. We're currently building 4 models, which are they're actually based on the Vivaro and the VW Caddy, only because since COVID with no new vehicle production, we're struggling to get stock.
Right.
So we went to British Gas, struck up a deal with them, and the vehicle fits the bill with base vehicles. It's got air conditioning, twin doors, etc., etc. Low mileage, well-maintained vehicles.
Yeah.
So we're initially building on those until all of our new stock arrives, which has started to trickle in this week, actually. So we will be running on Ford's, Mercedes, Vauxhall, and Volkswagen.
Oh, excellent. So there's something for every budget, and for people that are listening to this that are interested of getting a van. If they're thinking about, the forthcoming season and investing in a new vehicle, they can literally come to you and say, I want this van, and I want this layout, and you can help them.
That's right. If it goes on, we have, as I said, we have 4 models that we work to. But yes, if it's something bespoke, obviously it takes slightly longer to build. Because obviously there's some R&D work, engineering, etc. Particularly with cage sizes. But if someone wants to come on and say, right, this is what we're looking to do, and this is how we would like to design it, we'd love the opportunity to work with you guys.
Excellent. The thing to say, and which is why I've taken the time to actually speak to Martyn, and is his commitment to customer care and his wanting to engage with the client and their needs. So, I've had cages in vehicles for probably a considerable amount of time, and I've used various companies over the years. And in truth, one of the things where I'd say they consistently fall short on is customer care and customer services. And for me, as a professional in my industry, it's really important that I listen to the person that I work with, and I take a great level of pride in my professionalism in engaging with them promptly, and remaining in contact, and so forth and so forth. And I'd say Martyn absolutely excels in that area, and I probably that's an over from your previous location, but it's something that you definitely are excellent on. You're wanting to engage with the customer, and your level of professionalism is excellent. So for that alone, I think you stand out. What are you going to say?
Well, it's been drummed into me over the years. On the corporate side of things, obviously customer service is paramount. And again, with the building of the vehicles, every artist wanted some kind of different feature on their vehicle, not going into too much detail. But so we're used to working with the customer, developing the vehicle, making sure it works for them, the application it's been used in, I guess, the vehicle. So we're used to the customer service thing. We're not here just for the day to just to make the money and move on.
Yep.
We're looking at it long term. We've had an incredibly successful.
Oh, your camera's
Um,
off. That's it.
we've had an incredibly successful 3 months. We've reinvested a lot of the money that we've made back into the agility world. We've done things like sponsoring the New Year's Honours lists. We've done quite a bit of work with Agility Net, rolling out some products next year, sponsoring some events next year. We've done some competition days. Yeah, we're keen to work with people in the industry and support them as well in what they do. I mean, it's been an horrific year for you guys. I can't imagine all the dedication and time you put in, and then obviously for this to happen with the added stress of our jobs, the future and all the uncertainty.
I think the thing, I mean, it has been a challenging year. There's no way around it. But I think, to be truthful, it's been challenging for a lot of people in different industries, from, you look at frontline medical professionals to, the little boutique shop in your high street. There's so many industries that have been affected by COVID. And I think that, the say, for example, the message that you have of being somewhat adaptable, thinking laterally, about your business and see if there's other ways in which you can operate. I know for me on a personal level, that's definitely been the case. I obviously a lot of my businesses or my work is done online in various capacities, and that's been a lifesaver, to be truthful. And a lot of people, when COVID first struck, they reached out to me for advice and guidance about getting on the online platform, and I'm all too happy to help them out and to get that ball rolling. I think the thing is to appreciate that, irrespective of the work that you do, we're all in a similar situation, and various, for you, obviously, you work on, a large business, you have staff, etc. So you have a sense of responsibility. I don't have staff and I don't have a factory as such, but in the same way, I have clients and students that I'm trying to support and work with, etc. And like you say, their ambitions have been, sidelined, but it's really just about, as I say, trying to keep upbeat, trying to think of what we can do rather than focusing on what we haven't been able to do, and looking at moving forward. And I think that's the huge lesson for me as an individual and as a professional, about being optimistic. Life sometimes throws you lemons. You've got to be able to make lemonade, I think is the phrase, isn't it? So for those people that want to reach out to you, how can they contact you? And so the business name is, what's the business name?
The business name is K9TS, which is basically Canine Transport Solutions.
You've got a Facebook page. So those of you that are listening, go and check out Martyn's Facebook page. You'll see loads of pictures of the products that he does, the vehicles that he's done, which are absolutely immaculately turned out. You also do, just on a sideline point, before I lose my momentum, is you also deliver vehicles to people. You will literally drop it off to their doorstep.
That's right. With like many businesses with COVID, people like Kazoo, a lot of the motor industry has developed this contact-free service. So initially, when someone approaches us, we're carrying 30, 40 vehicles in group stock at the moment. So initially, a customer will come along, and if the vehicle's not already converted, they'll say, "This is what I like. I'd like to build it on this," etc., etc. So we then do a full video of the vehicle, a full vehicle presentation for the customer first, full service history, all the information that they need on that vehicle before it's converted is provided. They then pay a deposit, obviously, on it. They then we're looking at launching a portal where they can watch the development of their vehicle as it's being built.
Oh, that's cool.
But it's not quite launched yet.
Right.
So basically, the customer will have peace of mind. They will see the vehicle. They will see all its service history. So the base vehicle they'll be comfortable with before it's built. Then it will be built. They will have images. They will be able to go onto the portal eventually and watch the vehicle being built. The vehicle then goes, normally it goes in for 40, it's disinfected, it goes into quarantine essentially, 24, 48 hours. And then it's delivered on a transporter trailer then, or articulated lorry to the customer. And it's pretty much contact free. We've started providing handbooks of the vehicles, how the vehicle operates. Normally we would do a presentation on the vehicle because of the distancing. We're kind of doing everything by video, but via a booklet.
Yeah, amazing. So how about if, say, for example, somebody has a vehicle and they buy a vehicle and they want to get it crated, is that something that they can bring their vehicle to you and leave it with you?
Unfortunately not at this time, because we're so busy developing our products. Firstly, we've always had the rule, if you like, on building on vehicles. We always build on the vehicles that we have provided, because basically we're integrating electrics into the vehicle harness, etc. And then we can put our name on that vehicle then, because we've supplied it. We know the vehicle's right before we built on it. Whereas if a customer does bring a second-hand vehicle in and we do something to it, and something happens to the vehicle that has nothing to do with what we've done on the vehicle, suddenly it becomes awkward with the customer. Whereas if we provide the whole thing, we'll put our name on the whole thing, and we'll warrant the whole thing.
Yeah, so literally a one-stop shop. So you literally get the vehicle, pick it out, and provide it to them. I mean, what more could you ask? So amazing, work that you do. I think that something, as I said at the beginning of the conversation, our vehicles, as I say, are like our second homes, and we spend so much time in them. Our dogs spend a lot of time with them, traveling the country, pursuing the thing that we love to do most, which is probably train our dogs and compete, and spend time with our dogs. Even if you're not a dog sport competitor, I think it's worth considering the type of vehicle, the crating that you use. I think it's something that we often just do. Like, we either get, like, I've even done it. I've got second-hand crates, or I've used crates from other vehicles and sort of strap them down, etc. In the past, I've used freestanding crates and just put them in vehicles. Sometimes you do these things because you think, yeah, it's great, it'll be fine. It's only when that's tested in a really unfortunate set of circumstances that you realize how short they're falling of what should be done for them. So Martyn, thank you very much for your time and your work. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. So if you want to check out Martyn's Facebook page, it's K9TS, which is K9 Transport Solutions. I'll post a link in the chat so you can check out his Facebook page. Go and hit like and check out some of the amazing work. And if you are looking at getting a vehicle, speak to Martyn. He's your guy. Any final words, Martyn?
Take a look at it. The website is under construction at the moment. We've been so bombed since we rolled it out in the beginning of October. Literally the stock has been turning over daily, so we've struggled to keep on top of our stock lists. However, January is around the corner. The website will be up and running in the next week. But all of our information is on the Facebook page, K9TS. Alternatively, if you'd like to look at some of the work and our clients we've worked for, our website is www.harpautomotiveexclusive.com.
Perfect. Again, I'll put that link in the chat so anybody interested can go and have a look. Martyn, I wish you all the best. Thank you very much. I hope you have a good new year.
Thanks for having me on, Kamal. Have a good day. And a happy new year to you.
And you, fella. Take care. Cheers.